Good, oh, good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube. And I'm here with my usual bunch of cohorts as we talk for Love and Thunder. Full on spoilers ahead. Hello, Cheeto. Hello, Jose. Hello, Gary. How you guys doing?
Hanging in there.
All right.
This is Thor Love and Blenders. Spoilers are incoming, so you have 5 seconds to click off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
You're fired.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So, first of all, also hello, Nerdiverse. Welcome to the stream. We know who you are. All right.
Does it take place after Endgame or Doctor Strange? I think it's definitely after Endgame, but I can't tell if it's like in between.
No,
same time?
Let me put it this way: take it for what it's worth. Taika Waititi says it takes place technically the same amount of time it's been since Endgame, which is 3 years. Take it with a grain of salt. I don't think Taika Waititi thinks about when he's gonna brush his teeth next, let alone the time frame of. So you just kind of have to look at it and make a judgment for yourself, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. When it comes to these sort of shows, we just have to try to understand what's gone on regarding some of the prologue scenes as well. And in this particular case, with Thor: Love and Thunder, we did have a prologue of Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy going around the galaxy, saving the world, saving the universe, making the place a better place,
and destroying shit.
And destroying shit as well. Now they're very much America. Fuck yeah, come and save the motherfucking day.
Fuck yeah.
I very much appreciated all of that. So before we start talking about what we hate and what we liked about this film, because there's not going to be a breakdown like usual, did we like it? And I'll start with myself, if you don't mind.
Yep.
I thought this film was below average. I love Thor Ragnarok. Just want to go on to that right now. I love Thor Ragnarok. I think it's one of my favorite Marvel films of recent years. But this one, and I thought this one would be on a similar level to Thor Ragnarok, but it wasn't as good. I don't care that Jane Austen is Thor. I like that, actually. I love shit like that.
Jane Foster?
Yeah, Jane Austen or Jane Foster. What the
Jane
fuck?
Foster.
Jane Foster.
Jane Foster. I noticed in the
man.
tags you put it Jane Austen.
Yeah,
and I'm
I
like,
put Jane Austen. Oh, shit.
That'd be some real multiversal shit right there if that happened. You'd be like, huh?
I don't care. I think that's pretty cool. Actually, it's good to see that Natalie Portman. You really like. It's amazing when she was in her cancer mode, how gaunt she looked, and when she was Thor, she looked fucking amazing. She looked like she should be in the WWE. You know what I mean? I loved it. Absolutely fantastic. I like seeing Valkyrie come back as well. I'm glad that she got a bigger part. I like seeing all the other additional characters now we see. Around Thor nowadays, like Korg and Tilk, or whatever her name is. It's her as well. I just realized in this film. So all of that is pretty cool. But did it meld together? No, we hardly got any fucking Christian Bale in this film. And the fact that they killed him off as well at the end of the film kind of pissed me off. But damn, you're doing it again. You're killing off good actors who play decent villains.
And once again, it's the end of the world. Good fucking God.
Well, unfortunately, I mean, I kind of when it comes to Thor.
But with Thor, okay, I'll make the exception.
I'll make the exception. We're talking about universe, all of that. So
yeah.
Well, I'll get to you, Chi. One sec. I'll get. But overall, but other people do it, and you think to yourself, you're overdoing it. But he is in part of this gigantic thing anyway. There's he's a larger than life character. Good seeing Russell Crowe in a cameo as well, all of that. But it just didn't work. And when it came to giving my opinions on this film, I gave it a 4 out of 10. I really did. It was a tad below average. I'll tell you what I fucking did really love though. I love those fucking goats. I fucking loved those goats so much. Those goats, and they never put them in your face enough for them to annoy you. They just reminded you that they're still around. Love those fucking goats. I love seeing Stormbreaker being jealous of fucking Mjolnir. All of that sort of shit.
That was Mjolnir, and then he's like, Stormbreaker comes up to him and it's like, what the fuck you think you're doing? And then he's like, hey man, I was just talking to Mjolnir.
It was like there's two X's here, Mjolnir and Jane. But yeah, overall, not good enough in my opinion. And unfortunately, a bit below average is what Phase 4 seems to be at this moment in time. Only fucking No Way Home has killed it, in my opinion. Everything else, not good enough. Cheeto.
I just want to rebuttal D. Jose really quick. He said, "Oh, it's the end of the world or end of the universe." No, it's not in this one. It's the end of the world for the gods.
Yes,
that's all he wanted to do. He didn't.
Okay, good point.
He did not want to kill anyone other than the gods. So yeah, was it very important for Thor to stop him? Yeah, because Thor's going to be one of the people dying. But like every other normal person in the universe would live on. Everyone on Earth would live on. So I get it. Like there are stakes, yes, but at the same time, we knew he wasn't going to kill every god.
Yeah,
you might get away with every god except Thor because Thor proved himself to be worthy. But anyway, I actually like this movie better than Ragnarok. I hated Ragnarok, as if longtime watchers of here know. I hated Ragnarok. I think it's one of the worst MCU movies ever. I think this movie was a step in the right direction to get like more of that Ragnarok style, but still not being so stupidly, obnoxiously stupid. But actually, one of the weakest parts of this movie was Thor, in my opinion. I love Jane Foster. I liked Valkyrie, although she didn't get enough screen time. I didn't mind Gore. Gore got a decent amount of screen time. He got the whole intro, like to himself. So I felt like they gave him a decent amount of time. Now, granted, you could have given him more time, but I really felt like that Christian Bale's Gore the God Butcher was great. I didn't feel like he needed to live. And I know Boss Man's going to go on his Marvel kills all their good villains aspect, but the
Apocalypse didn't do it, Boss Man. God damn it!
But like,
we just have to point that out.
But I mean, see, I didn't bring it up this time. But
I know it just had to be said.
But I still feel like that Thor just being this, like, we go from Thor, who's in Infinity War and Endgame, and he's not like a blundering idiot. Like, he's depressed, he's got issues, he's got PTSD, everything like that.
They humanized him.
Yeah, and then now we go, but from Ragnarok, where they kind of gave him a little bit more of a more modern look and note and stuff like that. But then we go into this movie and they make him into an idiot again. Like, I think Taika, and don't even get me started on the end, because we'll get to the end when we get, well, we're not really reviewing it, but I didn't like the kid at the end. I wouldn't have minded if the kid like went to New Asgard and was adopted by Valkyrie or something, but Thor doesn't need a kid. And I know it's his kid I know it's Chris Hemsworth's kid in real life, but Thor doesn't need a kid.
I had no idea.
Huh?
I had no idea that was his daughter.
Yeah, that's his actual daughter in real life.
Fair enough.
Something new.
But still, so I feel like Taika Waititi does this on purpose. I feel like he gets to the end of a movie and he's like, how can I fuck up the MCU even more? And then they have to fix it in the next movie. Because at the end of Thor Ragnarok, they took away his eye. They blew up Asgard, which was fine. Blowing up Asgard, I was okay with. But it's like, they took away his eye. And in Infinity War, the next movie Thor is in, they gave him his eye back. So he's always doing these things that are just like, I'm just going to fuck with the MCU and then make them fix it later on.
And then you want to know the one thing? In the next movie, they'll change one thing that's worse. That's what I always fucking notice about the MCU. It's like they'll fuck something up, they'll fix it, and then they'll change the other thing to make something worse. Is what they do.
So I honestly, as I said, I give it. I mean, if we're hitting it right now, I'd give it a 5 out of 10. But I mean, that's higher than I gave Ragnarok. So, but honestly, I loved Mighty Thor. Jane Foster, I'm so gutted that well, spoilers, that she's dead technically, and I know she's in Valhalla, and I know people are complaining saying, well, she could technically come back, and I'm like, I'm okay with her being in Valhalla. Don't bring Hemdall back. It was a good little send off to Jane Foster's character. Don't bring her back. Not that but I really love that character in this movie. So, and yeah, Jane Foster, I got jacked for this movie. So I really appreciate all that. And I didn't like Jane Foster in the first 2 Thor movies. I was not a Natalie Portman fan whatsoever. But I thought she was done really well. So anyway, let Boss Man go to you next.
Yeah, he can take it.
Let's go Jose, because I've got a massive rant coming. So Jose, you go first.
Oh no! Go ahead. If you're gonna rant, go off, dude. Because I'm not.
All right, I fucking hated this movie. Right. Because right. Let's start off right. Russell Crowe is doing Jared Leto. It's a me.
What the fuck?
The God of War.
Okay,
I'm going
before
to do that to people. I'm going to do this and I'm going to flick the clothes off.
Okay, before you go on, when the fuck did Russell Crowe become John Goodman? Like, that's what the fuck I want to know.
He is doing a Greek accent. He is doing a Greek accent.
It sounded Italian to me. Anyway, I hated that bit, and I hated Christian Bale. I love him as an actor, but my God, was he out of place in this? Like the first bit of it was great, where he's like, you see that the full open, was it pre-credits where we see him like bringing his daughter, and his daughter dies in his arms, and it's like really sad, and Christian Bale's doing great. I'm going, all right, maybe like he could bring some like sort of like real emotion to this character, like you can understand why he gets so corrupted. I'm like, oh great, right, that's what we're doing. And then I was really hopeful when we see him go after the kids in New Asgard, when you see the sterile monsters. It was almost like something out of a horror movie. We see them smashed and put in that prison and stuff like that. I was like, all right, cool. And then all of a sudden, that mid-scene when he plays with the kids, he goes, "All right, there, kids, what we're going to do there?" Poof, and he rips his head out. It was so out of place. It's like he was being so jokey when he was like being really serious. And then I fucking hated this part when like they're like goes. And like they're having this really like sweet tender moment, Jay's just told him about cancer, and then Michael TT himself comes on and says, do you know what, we need to have codes, we kill heads on this. It's like talk about flaming disconnects or flaming tones. You had this tone of this like really serious romantic moment between this woman that he's lost, he's going to lose her again because she's got cancer, which is like this really heartbreaking emotion, and all of a sudden like this I've got this. It's like, and then they're talking about Valkyrie, about this woman she's lost. It's like there's so much. The total shift today. It's like giving me fucking whiplash. And then the bit I hate the fucking most was that bit where they go to eternity, and to get out of this, do they they manage to show go the other way? No. Thor begs like a bitch that he is, and doesn't fight. He doesn't show him how mighty he is. He's like going, "Oh, I'm going to love. Do what you want." It's like, no, that's not what Thor is. Thor is literally would fight to his last breath to get what he wants. He won't cry like a bit later. "Oh, I'm going to the woman love." No, he'd fight for her. He'd fight for the universe. I'm sorry, this is total dickening of a fucking character. Thor is a pussy in this entire fucking film. He's bitch slapped by every fucking character. I fucking hated this. Right, Natalie Portman and him is the only good bit.
You don't think he went on an arc? He's not that warrior guy anymore. Like he started off as a fucking hippie in this film. You don't think he went on the arc that he was going for love more than all of that?
I was all for that. I was all for Jane Foster and his rekindling their relationship, and the fact that he's helping in her life. But the thing is that he'd want to protect things more than her, because he's now reunited his humanity again. He's gone past being that vengeful sort of bitter guy that he was at the end of Endgame. Now he's like a different sort of character. But no, he goes beyond that. He's like, no, the Thor that he is now would be beyond that. He'd be like this person who'd fight for everything, because he was saved to a degree at the end of the Endgame from being that, and he's gone back again. And it's just like, and then it's like, I hate this film. Sorry, Jose, go ahead, because otherwise I'm going to rant.
One second, Jose. I just want to quickly say, Daniel Vance has said, Lady Sif's performance was so bad, I felt bad for the actress. They didn't reshoot that scene. I'll be honest with you, her scene was so small, they hardly ever used her. What was the fucking point of bringing her in my opinion?
I was going to get into that a little bit later if we want to talk more. And
the new guy here called Vistra, I hope I got your name right, mate. Crow was embarrassing as Zeus. Korg was insufferable. Valkyrie was dead wood. Thor was a clown. Jane Foster was annoying. Gore was restricted and dumb. I agree with you. And thank fuck the Guardians weren't in it that much. Yeah, well, I had a feeling they weren't going to be in it that much. They were just there just to...
In the beginning.
It was obvious in my opinion. And I'm glad they weren't, because then I would like this to be called as Guardians of the Galaxy and not fucking 4-4. Mm-hmm. But anyways, Jose, what would you like to say?
Okay, Jane Foster, fucking ripped, shredded. She killed her role. She did fantastic. And the relationships between Thor and his hammers was the highlights of the movie for me, to be honest. Like, that's about as good as I can say for it. I really enjoyed like some of the action sequences in this movie because Marvel movies, they always have great action in them. But other than that, I was like, this one was all right. Thor was okay, but Ragnarok is easily the better movie, I would think. But as far as the MCU goes, I think it reached its peak, as we've said before in one of our previous videos. But yeah, Thor was all right. I don't really have much to add to it.
Actually, Gary, what was your rating for this film?
Oh yeah,
2.
my rating too.
2. And what's yours, Jose?
About a 6. Like it was good, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, the thing with this film is that there's so many things I liked about this film, but coming together as a cohesive unit just didn't work for me, and it's a shame, really. Like I like seeing New Asgard as this sort of fucking superhero theme park.
Yeah,
That was pretty cool. I like seeing Liam Hemsworth and Matt Damon and Sam Neill come back, reprising their roles again.
Is it Liam Hemsworth? I thought it was the other Hemsworth.
What was the other one called?
I don't remember. There's two brothers. Yeah. There's Liam
and Chris is the middle child. Funnily enough,
yeah, Chris Liam and is it?
Yeah, Sean? the one who plays him in the play is his elder brother, and probably the least successful. But nevertheless, I like seeing all of that. Good to see Melissa McCarthy come back as well. Well, not come back, but be in this. But that was unfortunately spoiled a little bit when she was playing Hela. All of these things. I said I love the goats. I like the black and white planet. I like seeing that Chamber of the Gods. We even saw Celestials in there as well, which was pretty cool. All of these things, but it just didn't work together.
Speaking of which, I wanted Melissa McCarthy to play herself as Hela in this.
That would have been great, yeah.
Like because that's kind of like because now that it's like New Asgard, it's on Earth. Like they can actually get like, and I don't want Matt Damon to be Matt Damon, but like now that they were introducing like Hela in this one, and like I wanted Melissa McCarthy to be Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah,
Daniel Vance is giving it a 6. It kept me watching, but felt like a movie whose premises was there to set up Thor's daughter.
Pretty much, and then at the very, very end, I don't know if we're really going ahead, but the post-credit fucking scene the fucking post-credit scene where they brought Jane and Valhalla. I'm like, she's going to be getting a Disney Plus show. Like I said that in the theater, and people looked at me and they were like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yep."
I don't think so. I really let me put it this way. I really hope they are giving closure to both Hemdall's character and Jane Foster's character. Like they're in Valhalla. I know that there's probably some timey-wimey multiversal portal magic bullshit that they could if they wanted to bring them back.
Because they're going to pimp that. They're going to pimp that shit out with the multiverse. You already know.
But right? I really, really hope that Jane Foster's dead. She got her closure. I think honestly that's how they got her in this movie, because she was very against
coming back
in MCU. And I think they said, look, we've got this way of closing out your character. She'll be dead. We don't plan on bringing her back. I mean, there's always this that could always change plans, but I think they said, look, we're going to give you this good arc in this movie, and you're going to be dead, and we're going to close the book on Jane Foster.
I'm thinking if the mouse wants it to happen, the mouse will go, ha ha, I'm bringing Jane Foster back whether you like it or not, pal. And that's how it's going to go.
And the major disservice in this movie, in my opinion, is Sif. I don't mind them like making her lose an arm. That's character development. And I mean, there's ways around that in the future, because obviously they've got the God armor or whatever it's called that Thor has in the comic books, that she could have. But it's like, Sif has been a character that has been severely underused since the first one, like since the first movie. Second movie, she was kind of there, but it was like meh. Like
it's like you're here.
Yeah,
they got more use out of her from the spin-offs or from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and fucking Loki.
Yes,
than they did actually in 4.
Yes,
which was the funny thing. But yeah,
what a waste. Sif is a great character in the comic books. She is the new Hemdall. She is the person with the gate sword and being able to see the entire, like, she is Hemdall in the new version of Asgard in the comics. Like, she is a important character.
Yep.
Like, that's why I hate it. And when I saw her, I'm like, okay, maybe she's going to join this journey. She'll have one arm. That's fine. You can still do that. she's still a warrior. She still has one arm to fight with. No, they just
It felt like
her.
a hi, here I am kind of moment. Like,
and then she's training Axel or whatever his dumb name is at the end, and it's like, and it's just like why, Taika? Why do you hate the Warriors 3 and Sif so much?
And let me ask this: how are we feeling about Hercules? Because I'm like, okay, they got Hercules at the very end. I'm like,
right now, the MCU are like it's scraping the barrel now, isn't it? You know, like.
No, Hercules Hercules was on par with like in the comics. So let me put it this way. So when Iron Man first was going to come out, I said, oh yeah, they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel for this one. Like Iron Man was like a B, maybe C-list character in the Avengers comic books. I mean, Hercules has always been like a B tier. Like I would never call him like a front runner. But yeah, but Hercules has always been pretty prominent in the Avengers comic books, even more so than Iron Man. So if they do it right, and I mean the interactions between, and honestly, don't let fucking Taika Waititi touch Hercules.
Yeah,
do not. Taika Waititi needs to be. I'm sorry, like he needs to be done. Korg can. I was kind of happy when I saw Korg breaking apart and dying or not dying, but like
melting away or whatever.
In that battle, and I was like, yes, Korg's dead. Yes. And then I heard him still talking, and I'm like, God damn it, that little sphincter's still alive.
Dan Vance is happy that Hercules is coming back, but look, when I think of some of the Greek gods, I think of them as DC characters, not as Marvel characters. So you know what? In a way, DC themselves might be pissed, because they've got fucking Diana Prince on their books, who's like the daughter of Hercules and is it? Not Hercules, Zeus and
Hippolyta, not Hippolyta.
I forgot the name of that god.
It is Hippolyta.
But,
yeah, okay.
And so, like, they got this particular person, and boom.
Now DC, if you're watching, please do not bring Russell Crowe into be Zeus.
I think it'd be a great multiversal reference.
but the point is that it looks like
Diana, I am your father. Yeah.
The Greek gods don't belong to anybody; they're everybody's property. But it does feel that Marvel are stepping onto DC territory with the Greek gods to a degree.
But as I said, Hercules has been in the Avengers comic book since the 70s.
Yeah,
I'm not doubting that. I just can't help but how I feel regarding all of this, like with Namor being a comparison to Aquaman and all of that.
But technically, Namor was around before Aquaman was.
I'm sure I 100% believe you, but it's just the state of play at this particular moment in time. Sorry, Gary, I want to mention what I hate, but Gary, go on, say something, man.
I was going to say, the thing is, I want Tycho to have one more go at it, because I hate this to be the note he comes off of, because he'll be such a sour note to leave on. I think Taika Waititi is good, because he gave us was it What We Did in the Shadows, or what it was called.
Well, what it is, Gary, what I've realized now with directors is that no matter how much of a pedestal we put certain directors on, they will always make a shit film or a shit series or something along those lines. Everyone was ranting and raving about Deborah Chow, and then it wasn't completely her fault. Studio interference had its part, but the Obi-Wan series, unfortunately, was not that good. But she helmed that show. And by the way, there is, and I'll send you guys a link later. There is a edited version of the Obi-Wan series into a 2.5-hour movie, and everyone says it's fucking brilliant.
Okay, good. Because goddamn it, that's the way it needed to be.
Yeah, I'll send you the link of that, guys, later. The guy says that the only people who should watch it if people who have Disney Plus, and as we all have Disney Plus, we're going to watch it, at some point. So I recommend it. So, but yeah, but what I hated was the kids. I absolutely I thought to myself, oh my god, this is getting proper Disney now, isn't it? This is getting proper fucking Disney. Like we got all the fucking kids now, fucking going, I don't know if they were going to Guns N' Roses or wherever the fuck they were going on. I mean, all these powers coming. Yeah.
Before we finish that, the one thing I am going to say is the soundtrack to this. They nailed that shit with the rock and roll and the music. They nailed it with. That was the good thing about this movie. But back to what you hated.
No, nostalgically, yes, I did appreciate that. But seeing Thor have an army of fucking children.
Yeah.
It's like,
I agree with you. I half agree with you, Zam. I agree the kids getting the powers and then fighting and all that. That was pretty stupid.
Yeah.
But I did think it was very on point with Gore to kidnap the children to lure Thor out. Like and so that I was okay
no,
with.
I was fine with that. I was totally
Okay.
fine with that. Save the kids.
The
and all
cheesy
of that.
part with the powers was stupid.
Yeah, and all that,
Yeah,
and imbuing
It
them
just
with Thor
felt.
powers.
It's just like who is in control of all of this. It's Disney. This feels like such a Disney fucking scene. You know what I mean?
If you think Galactus is going to be the big bad, you're wrong. It's the mouse.
Yeah, exactly. So like this thing.
But I was
fucking-
sorry, I was going to say,
Go on.
I want Disney not to do Galactus now. I want Doctor Doom because if they're going to fuck it up, then
They're gonna fuck everything up, man. You
It's
know,
Disney.
like
Yeah.
right now, look, right now, Phase 4 unfortunately hasn't been that good. You know, and even like the thing with the sword.
And
you know,
this
they
is
do wanna-
supposed to be the silver age of the MCU technically, because the golden age is past. Now this is supposed to be like the silver age, and it feels more like bronze. Like it's like, okay,
not
like
even that. It feels like
yeah.
iron.
Yeah.
But
Well,
like,
okay, but going
Go on.
but what Boss Man said, I mean, but here's the thing, it's like you can't say that they're gonna fuck it up a bit, like the villains up, because I mean, like look what they recently did with Thanos. Technically, that's still recent. Like that is literally what 5 movies ago.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't say that they're like. I mean, I get what you guys are saying. Like we've entered a different age. We've entered a silver age. Phase 4 is nowhere near as good as I would say Phase 2 and Phase 3 have been. I would say that this phase is probably on par or a little bit worse than Phase 1. But Phase 1 was also setting groundwork. We are also here setting groundwork. So we need to keep that in mind. And I agree with you. Where we've been in the past, in the past 5 movies ago is definitely different than where we are now.
But sorry to cut you off, but Feige also did say we're not going to get a movie as big as Endgame. He did confirm that.
And I hope we don't. Yeah. I hope the next Avengers movie has like 6 to 9 Avengers. I don't want like Age of Ultron had 9 Avengers in it, and I thought that was perfect. Yeah. You introduced 3 new characters. You had your original 6. Like, and it wasn't super bloated. If the next Avengers movie, we get like everybody again, it's just it's too much. And they need to come out early and say, look, we are not like you're going to get not like 6, you're going to get 7, you're going to get 8 Avengers in this movie. Yeah. We are not bringing everybody in from the shows, and we're not bringing everybody in for this.
Yeah, you're not going to get Endgame ever again. Like he has confirmed that. Like he's like,
I think we will get in.
That crossover scene is something that we may not see for a long time.
Okay, but here's my problem. And this is something that is a problem. Mm-hmm. Is that every villain can't just be villainous because they're power hungry, so that they have to be like going through some trauma. So we had like literally a character called Gore the Gore Butcher, who's literally this like evil guy who's crying over his children and stuff like that. He can't just be a guy.
He's going through trauma, though. He is going through trauma. He lost his daughter, and then,
that's what I mean. He has to be relatable. He can't just be.
And he was a religious guy who found that the gods were a bunch of jerks.
And honestly, that is verbatim out of the comic books. Like that is literally
they followed it to a T with the comics.
Yeah, well, I mean, the scene of him getting the sword's a little bit different, but more or less, yes. That him being betrayed, like him begging the gods to help, and they didn't. And so then he took on the Necro Sword because of his hate and his vile for the gods and everything. That's all 100% true to the comic book, and that's what I thought they did really good with Gore. And I really thought they did a good job portraying, especially in the negative world. What is it called? The Dark Realm. I don't remember what it's called, but in the black and white world. Yeah, the black and white world. I really thought they did a good job at portraying the insanity and the what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, but like the insanity and like the desperation, not even desperation in him. Like I don't know the word. If I think of it, I'll come back. But they really
maliciousness. I don't know.
Maybe maliciousness, maybe a little bit, but like it was a good scene.
Machiavellian,
huh?
Machiavellian.
Yeah, a little bit Machiavellian. Yeah. So like but they really portrayed that really well with him in that scene. And I really, and I know people, like, as I said, I know, and I agree. I don't think we got enough Bale in this movie, but Gore the God Butcher, but I do agree that, like, that they didn't portray him in the best of light because they didn't give enough time.
Yeah, had he would have gotten a little bit more time, you could have identified with him and been like, "Oh, okay."
I honestly, I feel like there was too much emphasis on Thor in this movie. Like, I feel like Mighty Thor, and I don't mind Thor being in the movie, but this should have been like an Infinity War situation where it was like they focused on Gore, they focused on Jane, and then Thor's just kind of there. Like, they focused a little bit too much on Thor, I think, honest and truly.
Like, for me, the last bad guy that I really felt like I could identify with, and this is going back, is Killmonger. And I don't think there's been, well, if you take out Thanos, there hasn't been a villain that you could feel you identify with other than Killmonger, because it's like, okay, Killmonger shows up, and, I think T'Challa was a terrible good guy. Like, he tried to cover up his father's tracks. And, Killmonger turned up. It's like, okay, of course he's going to turn up. And with, the God Butcher, I thought he had a good reason for doing what he did. We just didn't get to see him portrayed in the best way, in my view.
Well, there's also a 4-hour cut of the movie out there.
Yeah.
I want to quickly, I want to see that 4-hour cut. Just to get to Daniel Vance's comments here. There's speculation that the new Hercules live action by the Russo brothers is a Marvel movie and will tie the Disney movie world to the MC. Oh my god!
You better be joking. Like, I like the Hercules Disney movie, but you better be fucking joking.
Yeah, the MCU phase. I would drips of Thanos until it wasn't. It was a slow burn. You're expecting part 2 to be faster, but they have to set things up. I agree with you, though. Yeah, but some things are already like there was like a really like way earlier initial setups. Now, like, there's no need for certain character development because we know all these characters. So it's a different level of setup than it was previously. It's more of a continuation into a new thing. From where we last left off because we're continuing with people we already know. To go on another subject here, like that sword. Now, because Sony owns the right to Spider-Man and Venom in this particular case, and the symbiotes and stuff, they weren't really able to connect the fact that this sword is a symbiote in its own right. It's part of all of that, and they weren't able to do any of that.
Yeah, they can't call it in X-Men terms like mutiny kind of shit. They got to come up with their own bullshit for it.
Well, actually, okay, so here's where it gets muddy because in the comic books, the Necro sword is it's got like a symbiote attached to it. But the problem is that, and you were talking about Spider-Man, they also have Null, the Black King, which is basically the symbiote king. So I feel like, and if I have to look this up to be 100% sure, but I feel like if they go the route of Null with the symbiote king, they don't have to call him the symbiote king. They can just call him Null the Black King because he's just like this. He looks like a symbiote, but he's all black and he's got like the Venom symbol on his red Venom symbol on his chest. But I think that's why they created that character so that they could use symbiotes in a different way if they had to. So it's kind of odd that they didn't use a symbiote because I think they technically could. They just would have called it something different, not a symbiote. So I thought it was really odd that they didn't, because I just thought in all the trailers and stuff they didn't show the symbiote because they just were gonna, they were just showing us pre-CGI stuff so that it was a big shock when we saw the symbiote in the movie. But I don't know. I thought it was weird.
I thought the CGI there was crap.
Huh?
I thought the CGI in this film was crap.
Wow. Okay. I don't think I've seen CGI as bad as the Power Rangers movie. That's like probably the worst CGI I've ever seen.
Just the coloring.
Yeah, the coloring.
Really bright film.
Yeah, it was very
shiny. Very shiny, very bright.
It was very Weenie Hut Jr.
It wasn't really realistic, though. That's the point, though. Like, your Marvel movies have always been pretty realistic, even with things that don't exist.
Yeah, but that's how it was in Thor Ragnarok. They had all that Jack Kirby style, bright colors and everything like that. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's not really. As I said, if you liked Ragnarok, then you can't complain about the aesthetic of this.
No, but Ragnarok was actually funny. This wasn't.
Yeah, right. No,
some of the dialogue felt kind of forced though too. Yeah, you could tell like what was funny, and some of the stuff it's like, okay, we get it. We know where you're going.
I think it was very hard as well, like to try and shoehorn all these different elements into this film. You're dealing with Gore, you're dealing with Jane, Valkyrie trying to be king, you know, Thor finding his new self, so to speak. Even the Guardians, to a degree, at the beginning of the movie, just before we get rid of them. Yeah, and even other characters as well, like Axel. His trying to be who he's supposed to be. Is he going to be the new Hemdell, however you say his name, or is he going to be somebody else entirely different? Will he be the new gatekeeper? All of these things. It was just a lot to do in a short space of time. They're trying to make these films under 2 hours, but unfortunately, that's not long enough.
And that's why I say, like, I think there was too much. I think there was too much emphasis on Thor in this movie because everything going on around Thor was more interesting than Thor. Mighty Thor. I wanted to see more of Valkyrie being king and stuff like that. Like, I honestly feel like Thor was just a burden on this movie because I get it, his name's on it, but it's like at some point the main character kind of has to. He's been in what 8 movies, like including all the Avengers ones, like 8 or like he's been in like 8 or 9 movies at this point. Like, he should just kind of be there, and we should be focusing on Mighty Thor, Valkyrie, even Axel, Sif. Like, we could do all that.
He had his moments, but it was like, okay, do we have to put the entire focus on Thor? Like, the stuff with the hammers I thought was great, but then, like, everything else around that, I'm like, okay. We know why he's here.
But see, that's the whole hammer stuff is like... The whole hammer stuff is honestly, I thought that was a bit much and stupid. Like, was it funny at times?
It was funny like the first couple times they did it, but then afterward it was kind of like, oh, okay. Once you got to like the third or fourth.
Honestly, I thought the goats, and I wasn't a huge fan of the goats, but honestly, I thought the goats were funnier than the hammer thing, and I just felt that was like another subplot. Like the hammers were another subplot that was just like. Really?
That's part of the movie for me was them landing on the Nightmare Planet. The sudden realization that the small planet they landed on.
Do you know what? I've just thought something. Do you know what? If they do another movie, what might happen is that like Korg has a child and that follows Thor around. That's also going to be voiced by.
It's Disney.
I'm going to ask this: Are we kind of done with Thor, like, overall as a movie? Do you think he should just be, like, a side character at this point? Like,
Avengers character.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't mind Thor being there, but they put way too much emphasis on him when everything around him was so much more interesting.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, in Infinity War, Thanos was the main focus, but there were definitely Avengers there. There were definitely Avenger things going on. And I think Zam's right. I think they cut they filmed 4 hours of this movie, and they cut it down to what, under 2? Isn't it like an hour?
Like an hour, yeah.
Well, let's hope we get the Waikiki cut, you know, and hopefully they'll give us that.
Yeah, everybody hashtag Thor Love and Thunder extended cut.
Thor Love and Thunder extended cut. Okay, got it.
Like Iron Man, Tony Stark, you know, he hasn't been in. Once he'd done his trilogy, you know, then we started seeing him pop up in other films. You know, he was in obviously the Avengers movies, but he was also in Captain America.
I'd like to see that with Thor. I think I'm done with Thor as a movie franchise. I want him there, but I don't want him getting his own movies anymore.
All right, Jose, I'm just going to say this out. They're probably going to do it.
They're going to do a Thor 5. I know they will. It's inevitable.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, they need to reformat it, though. They need to base it more on the characters. Go ahead, Sam.
This is what I would do. I'd make a Hercules movie from the perspective of Hercules and have Thor as the antagonist. Don't get me wrong. It will still be as if Thor was the good guy as far as he's concerned and all of that. But it's Hercules based, and we're following him around more. And then Thor is the person he conquers. I wouldn't mind even if he killed Thor, you know, to the truth.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind Thor dying.
You know,
because I know, like I said previously, like the Avengers is going to go younger because we know, like, they're going to do the West Coast Avengers. They're going to be going younger with like Ironheart and Echo and all that kind of shit that we kind of don't care about. But that's where they're going. They're trying to go younger with the MCU now.
I think Echo's going to be a young Avenger. I think Echo is just going to be like they're going to try to make Echo the PG-13 version of the Netflix shows.
Yeah.
Like Moon Knight.
Oh, God.
And as I said, Moon Knight wasn't bad. I really liked Moon Knight, but I agree. Like, you don't bring Daredevil and Kingpin back and nerf them like you do.
Yeah.
Like they did Kingpin.
Exactly. I heard they're going to do. It said that Jessica Jones is going to be coming back. I've been hearing as well. So
there's been there's been a lot of back and forth on that one. I've heard.
I've heard Luke Cage. I heard Luke Cage might be kind of coming back. They're considering it.
I just hope they recast Iron Fist. Sorry, Jim Jones, but man, you were the wrong pick.
Yeah, they need a guy who can fucking at least do a bit of martial art choreography too. He doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be a proper martial artist, but can do something.
God, I
Jones
forgot how
awful. He's awful.
God, I forgot. Punch. God, I forgot how bad Iron Fist was. That brought a sour taste in my mouth. Oh.
Yeah. Actually, season two wasn't bad. Anyway, but back on track.
Jessica Henwick was really good at it.
Who?
Jessica Henwick. She played the female. I can't remember what her name was.
All right, so back to Thor: Love and Thunder.
Thor: Love and Blenders. All right.
Yeah, Love and Blender.
All right. I'll fuck this movie. There you go.
Fuck this movie.
I don't know. I mean, what is it? Mount Olympus City? I don't remember. Omnipotent City? I don't remember what it's called.
It's Olympus City.
Oh, yeah, Omnipotent City, yeah, or something along those lines.
I actually enjoyed that part a lot. I did not care. I know you guys like get all bent out of shape about accents and stuff like that with Russell Crowe. We know he can do a good accent, so I feel like this is not his fault. I feel like this is like Taika Waititi's fault, basically telling him ham it up and make yourself
ham it up and make it cheesy and do what you do.
Yeah,
make
it come across as one of those guys who sells you gyros.
But I did like that whole exchange of Thor like meeting his hero and then being severely disappointed. You know what I mean? Like I think they played that really well.
And then he's like, "Yeah, I hate you now." Like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed that segment. I was very happy and disappointed when Korg died and then didn't.
What was so funny about it? Because of Gito, do you like that sort of accident I started to talk in it?
I don't even understand what you're saying right now.
Yeah,
I don't. He thought this is a little bit of Parmesan cheese.
He's not playing a fucking Italian. He's playing a Greek.
No, here's the thing. No, but here's the thing. He hasn't been on Earth for thousands of years at this point. So maybe his accent's gotten lax.
If they wanted to make it funnier, here's what they would have done. They would have gone, "Hello, it's me, Mario." That would have been hilarious. That would have popped me. It would have been cheesy, but it would have been the funniest damn thing.
No, because he's fucking Greek, not Italian. No, it would not work. It might work for some you guys across the pond in Boss Man. But it would be the most stupidest fucking geographical nonsense I've ever seen in my life.
It's Mario.
Yeah, hello. Yeah. It's Mario.
Hey, I got to flick.
Fucking cunts. How you doing today?
Now, a while back, Ginger Greek made a video on, apparently how it woke hypocrisy on Thor because he went naked and stuff like that, and it's okay for a guy to look. I totally disagree. I thought that video was fucking stupid. Everything he said was fucking stupid. But regardless of that, what we saw was male empowerment. This wasn't like trying to get a woman naked and all these fucking guys are jerking off to her and shit like that while she's fucking acting all innocent. No, like he was like this with his fucking muscles bulging and being as masculine as fucking possible. His clothes come off and the women fucking faint. Even the men fucking fainted. He was so fucking gorgeous. You know what I mean? It was proper masculinity, male empowerment. Nothing woke about it or woke hypocrisy whatsoever. Yeah, he was still being as strong as ever. And he didn't mind being fucking naked. Look at this fucking magnificent specimen. That's what he was doing.
It took me back to fucking Infinity War when like Quill's trying to like fucking feel better about himself. And then he's like, "This is not a dude, he's a man." Like, that's what that took me back to. Like, I had flashback to that scenes, and then Rocket goes, yeah, cool, let's face it, you're one sandwich away from fat. Like, that's what that took me back to.
I just love later on when he's like, "No, they actually made me naked, and I'm okay with that." Like,
exactly. It's proper male empowerment. Look at this fucking specimen of a man. You fucking
like, that's not a dude, that's a man.
You know what I mean? Honestly, it's totally different to, there's no woke hypocrisy whatsoever. This is proper masculinity.
I think the thing is that if it's a woman, all people will be going, oh, it's about people like you're what's the word objectifying a woman. It's like, no, a woman could be powerful and all the other things you say about feminine, but still be powerful and naked. That's the whole thing. You can be, but it depends about how it's done, and this was done very well.
That scene was done very well with Thor.
Yeah,
And I also like the fact that Thor was destroying shit. That was cool too, because I'm like,
that's what I liked about it.
Yeah,
that's the only little bit of that film that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
Was that scene when he throws the lightning bolt back at Zeus and he goes through him, he just sees Russell go.
Yeah,
I just falls over.
I thought, fuck, he killed Zeus, and then I realized no, he didn't. He just gave him a flesh wound.
Yeah, he impaled him, but he didn't kill him.
Right through the center of his chest, and like all these fucking bitches are like, yeah, I'll sort this out. A bit of cotton buds. You know what I mean?
A bit of cotton magic.
Yeah,
TLC.
Exactly. Yeah, so but it was good seeing all these different gods and stuff like that to a degree, all under one roof, but at the same time, like,
go ahead.
I'm just thinking to myself, when you look back at Iron Man 1 and then you look at this fucking film, it's like, Jesus Christ, have we come such a long way now? Like, when I almost feel like they're not in the same universe anymore.
No, because we peaked, like I said earlier. That's what it is. We hit the peak, and now it's.
I think with Iron Man, and it's like, that was very like earthly. Like, I mean,
yeah.
but Thor and the Avengers really opened the whole universe up because we introduced aliens. Because I mean, the Norse gods, the Greek gods, all of them are aliens. So. I really feel like Thor really, that first Thor movie really opened up the window for us to expand, into this part of the universe that has technically already existed, and I agree now that it's like, and Earth has become kind of like a hot spot because of, the Infinity
The world
Stone.
has to end in Earth. That's just how it is. Like, the world is in danger about 99.9% of the time, at least whenever a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie is concerned.
Daniel wants to mention Florence Pugh's the Black Widow girl just went top see-through to a premiere and told people to get over themselves if they take offense. Yeah, she went to a premiere where she was wearing a see-through outfit, and so you could see the nips and everything.
Lil' Kim did that all the time back in the 2000s, and didn't nobody say shit.
Yeah, like that sort of shit it's been happening for a while. I mean, the only thing is, once again, she is now an employee of Disney. How they're going to take that, I don't know. But should they give a shit? Not really. She's allowed to do what the fuck she wants.
The mouse is going to throw a fucking fit anyway because it's the mouse. The mouse runs the world.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Vance, is that's what she chose to wear. That's the thing that people do. That she's chosen to wear that particular attire, and I saw it. It's like yeah. So
who gives a shit? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So. Anyways, anything more to add, fellas?
I did, just really quickly, I did enjoy the friendship between Jane and Valkyrie. I'm sad that it's not, at least for right now, it's not going to continue, but I enjoyed that friendship more. I really wish we would have seen more of Jane getting Mjolnir. Because they have the scene where the pieces start to move and everything like that. And then
that's in the director's cut.
Huh?
That'll
be in the director's cut. Yeah.
Well, they did release, like, as I said, there were behind the scenes things of like Natalie Portman hanging above like on a crane or something, and like in that scene like area of New Asgard. So apparently there is, as I said, there's a 4-hour cut somewhere of this.
It's going to happen.
Okay. I'm going to ask a question now. Maybe you guys don't know the answer. What is the next MCU thing? I mean,
Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda is next.
I honestly don't know. They may delay that because they've had a lot of delays and a lot of post-production issues because of like COVID.
The two that worry me, one's Marvel, one's DC. Marvel Wakanda worries me, and then The Flash is another one I'm worried about.
No.
Those two I think are probably going to get pushed.
I think The Flash has always been worried about.
Yeah. But I think they're going to push Wakanda early next year.
Is She-Hulk before? Is She-Hulk the series before?
She-Hulk She-Hulk's in a month, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and then Wakanda Forever is supposed to be
November.
October. Is it November?
November.
Say October, November, but yeah, it probably is November.
Black Adam is the next movie I'm actually looking forward to personally. That I've got hopes for that. They better not fuck
that's
up.
Not even that's not
I know,
even
but
MCU.
I know, but that's the next movie I'm actually looking forward to seeing. So it's going to be a while before I get excited about seeing a film, superhero related anyway.
Yeah, because I don't know, as I said, for me personally, I get like it's going to take, as I said, Wakanda Forever. I want to be good, and to be honest, I want this to be good because like I know Sam always talks about the fun, the menace, and all that stuff. The fact is, we have in China of New Asgard, we have a woman who of color who's also a bisexual, so you can't get any more representative than that.
And speaking of Wakanda, sorry Gary, but did y'all hear people want T'Challa to be recast?
Yes.
This was on Twitter like a couple weeks ago. They were talking about they want T'Challa to be recast. I'm like, I get it.
I don't mind that just because the family, I think the brother came out and said that Chadwick would have wanted the character to be, because he wanted to have, because Chadwick would have wanted the next black actor, next young black actor to be able to, get into that spotlight. Chadwick would not have wanted his death to hold up another like black actor to get, that spotlight.
I think that's what's going to happen with Wakanda, which is why they're probably going to push it back. Because they want to bring in T'Challa, which they should. I don't think they should retire the character.
I said I was very hesitant of saying that back when Chadwick Boseman's passing, in his passing originally. But I do agree. I think it is somewhat a disservice to just kind of nerf that character. Now you can just bring in a whole new character, and
Denzel Washington's son, mate. Denzel Washington's son.
Yeah. But I mean, there are several, and as I said, this is not something that this isn't like what's his face? Who originally played Rhodey? I don't remember his name though.
Terrence Howard.
Yeah, this isn't like studio negotiations. This is a tragic event that happened.
And didn't he and Downey Jr. not get along? Like I think that was
also
another thing.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. This isn't this, but if the families come out and said, "Look, we want this to happen. We want another black actor."
We're okay with it.
Yeah. If they say they're okay with it, I would, as long as the family's okay with it and they come out publicly and say they're okay with it, I would, and it's not about this. It's like, then I would be like, all right, then let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, in the chat is the link to the Obi-Wan movie.
Okay.
There you go. I recommend. It's totally legit. I checked it myself. So once again, this is the entire series edited with a couple of the guy's own personal bits and bobs added to it, as well as the Duel of the Fates added to the final fight between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. He put that in there instead, and apparently everyone's raving about this. They're saying it's much better than the actual series, and it's edited down to 2.5 hours. So definitely worth a watch, fellas.
And later this week, we finally wrap up Miss Marvel. Thank God. Okay, good. I'm ready for this. I'm ready to get this done. I'm ready for Wednesday to be here so we can be like, all right, good, it's over.
It's bittersweet for me because once I've seen somebody for the first time who I could relate to in the Marvel MCU, but they didn't do it right in my opinion.
Started off fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, and I've said it to you in the Facebook chat. I wanted this to succeed so much. I mean, there's so much about the series I loved. Like, for example, I loved her. I love the family. I love the community aspect. I love everything about it. It's just that there's something that's not clicked, that didn't click, and I can't put my finger on what that thing is.
Terrible villains for a start.
The villains are the first thing I would think of.
And actually, and Bossman is right. Like the most interesting parts of Miss Marvel are the parts that aren't Marvel-y. You know what I mean? Like
with action. Yep.
Yeah.
It's
like everything else, like all the dimensional portals and all that. Like, no, the most interesting part is the culture, the interactions. Yep. I love all that stuff. But then when they get into like the super breakneck action, like in episode 4, and even in episode 5, there was even though it slowed down a little bit, there was still a bunch of that. The more interesting parts are the parts that aren't even Marvel-y. You know what I mean? Like,
but they got to finish strong. Like I said, I've been preaching that the last 3 weeks. I'm like, okay, we will see if they live up to it. I don't know if they will, but we'll see.
I'm just happy for it to finish to a degree.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Bruno and Kamala get along, or maybe they might leave that for another season, or maybe maybe the Marvels.
They'll save that for the Marvels. They'll save something for the Marvels.
Exactly. And by the way, I'm hoping, and talking about Brie Larson cameo, because I'm hoping that we see one in Ms. Marvel. In a way, if anyone is going to get along with Valkyrie, I really want it to be Captain Marvel. I think them two would make a great couple, in my opinion. And make it happen. Apparently, the actress who plays Valkyrie wants that to happen. I'm sure Brie Larson. Yeah, I'm sure Brie Larson would be up for it too.
I want there to be. I want there to be an A-Force movie. I really do. The female led, and I don't care how you bring them together. Like people are saying, like, oh, maybe they're at a baby shower for one of the characters. I'm like, oh, for God's sake! Like, why do we have to really all women with baby showers? Like, no, bring them together because they want to go out drinking without the boys. You know what I mean, or something like that.
Like Tony Stark and them got to do some shit. Let's go do some shit. That's how
like in Age of Ultron, one of the best scenes is that party. Started off at something like that, but it's all the women. And then just something happens and they have to go save the day or something. And just the boys just don't happen to be there. I would love an A-Force movie. I think it would be fantastic. You put Valkyrie, you put Captain Marvel, you put, well, not Scarlet Witch anymore. I would have put her in there. But I mean, like a bunch of these.
The Wasp.
The Wasp. Like a bunch of these female leads.
It could be in there like cracking jokes at everybody's expense.
Yeah. I mean, you've got a bunch of female leads that really deserve like time in their own Avengers style movie. And I mean that the shit that they gave us in Endgame, where it was, they all just kind of walked down a mountain. Even though Captain Marvel could have just taken care of the entire army herself anyway, it felt so hand-fisted. And I was great that they tried. It was great that they tried, but it's like you saw, like they all ran up and they did their little things, and then Captain Marvel just blew through everybody. He's like, why were they even there? Like Captain Marvel could have killed. Like
her and Thanos, her and Scarlet Witch could have taken down everybody, including Thanos.
That entire army, Scarlet Witch and Captain Marvel could have just taken out.
We could have had a handicap tag team match, player. And that's how that would have gone down.
And Scarlet Witch's power levels now. Imagine if she was in that Endgame scene with her current power levels.
Dude, Thanos would have been fucked. Thanos wouldn't have had a chance.
But she always had that power, but she was never able to tap into it. Yeah. Because like you saw in Age of Ultron, when she found out her brother died, like she just fell to her knees and started crying, and all those fucking Ultron robots just disintegrated.
Well, not to get too off topic, but I always felt like in Age of Ultron they did the Thor and Iron Man solution because those guys had to be the
focal
solution.
Point.
Yeah, but I feel like honestly what they should have done is when he died, like she vaporized the entire rock.
Yeah.
Like you just vaporize. I felt like she should have been the answer, and she vaporized the entire rock.
And then they could look at her like, okay, what the fuck, Wanda? We get it, but damn.
But no, they had to have Iron Man and Thor save the day. Yep. I think it should have been Wanda who just, as I said, when her brother died, she vaporized the entire rock.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Captain America jumps on it when he sees the big red thing coming his way, and they kind of pull,
Yeah.
But and that would have also been a hint towards her true power. But that of course, big name actors
2020
get their big name paychecks.
Yeah.
Anyways. All right, then, guys. Well, we've been on this for about an hour. Anything more to add?
Nope.
Like this video, or I'm going to fire all of you.
Yeah, and let us know what you think of Thor: Love and Thunder. Was it as good as some of us?
Was it? Let me ask this before we go.
Actually, do we?
Where do we rank this with Phase 4, like on our ranking system? Because No Way Home is number 1, obviously, and Doctor Strange could be number 2. I
would put this right below below Doctor Strange, because Eternals, no. Black Widow, no.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi, yeah.
I would put Shang-Chi a little bit above this one. So yeah, maybe 4th on the list, I would say.
Yeah, Thor 4, I think that'd be appropriate.
Obviously Far From Home is the top, so nothing topping that at this particular moment in time.
It's not even Disney.
Yeah, Disney. Feige doesn't even have shit to do with it. Like it's like, oh, okay, yeah, Sony, we own this shit.
Feige did have to do with No Way Home because Marvel Studios produced it.
Well, yeah.
All right,
I don't know if I don't know if how much I actually like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Like you got your comic book, you got your fan pops in that for a start with the Illuminati. Don't care that they were killed off in a way. I really don't. Because sometimes when I see all of this shit, I think to myself, there's too much to put in one film. Obviously, Far From Home kind of proved me wrong a little bit, but there are always exceptions to the rule. But I would actually put Black Widow a little bit higher. I didn't mind it too much. It just happened to be a prequel film.
It was 5 years too late.
Yeah,
no doubt. But I won't hold that against it in regarding enjoyment. It was the only thing I didn't like was what's the name of the villain? Taskmaster. What the fuck his name
Oh
is?
yeah,
Yeah,
Taskmaster. I completely forgot she was even in there.
Yep.
A terrible rendition of that particular character. But I think I don't know. Like I'll maybe put this as 3 or 4 on
Yeah,
the list.
I could see
I
that.
don't know. It's just not. I mean, overall, I don't even want to rank it. It's hard. It's hard to rank it just yet. I mean, let's wait for the rest of Phase 4 to come out. Honestly,
how much more we gotta go? Because I know like there's a
we've
few
got
more
Guardians
movies.
and the Ant-Man and
Well, here's the thing, because they originally said that Phase 4 ended at Thor: Love and Thunder, didn't they?
Yeah,
Because Wakanda Forever. Well, and I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's changed since then, but when the initial announcement of Phase 4 was, it went all the way up through Thor: Love and Thunder. Like that was Phase 4.
I thought Guardians was supposed to be the end of Phase 4 originally. That's what I remember hearing.
No, because if you go back and watch the original presentation, Thor: Love and Thunder was, I think, the last one on the list. But
Okay,
they might have extended it out with, because they announced Wakanda Forever after that presentation, also Guardians 3. So I mean, those might be tacked on Phase 4, but they haven't really said what technically is Phase 4. So I guess it's just going to be Phase 4 until we hear them call Phase 5.
I think Fantastic Four is the end of Phase 4. I think that's what they want to do. Which
which is fine with me. I just don't know.
My only thing is that there was a time when I was like, yeah, I can't wait for the next Marvel film. Now I was like, oh no,
another one.
The next one.
Here we go.
Like, oh, is it going to be any good? I mean, that's what I'm thinking now. Like, because the Marvel films have just not been good enough, but they set a very high bar. Doesn't matter if they're doing groundwork. The groundwork in previous films was not as bad as the groundwork in these films.
I think they've almost gone too damn high. That's probably the biggest criticism I could give Marvel. And I think, too, a lot of that, I hate to say it, it's on us. It's on the fans. We hyped it up way too much. We have ourselves to blame for it. Those of us that are like, oh, my God.
We don't, because, they set a particular standard, and we're there to judge it. And if it's not good enough, then at least we're being honest about it.
Yeah.
We're not pretending it's good.
Do you think we're too impatient? Sometimes
I think a lot. No, I'm one of those people. I think everybody's being too impatient. I agree.
I think we are.
Well, let me put it this way. I am of the camp of thinking that people who are saying, "Man, we need to get more Kang in here. We need to get more." Like, I feel like those people are being too impatient. I'm not going to say any names who's on this podcast, but I think they're being too impatient. But no, I agree. If you want your movies, even individually, you want your movies to be good. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't blame people for wanting good movies. But, I mean, you can't compare these movies to Endgame.
No, because nothing's ever going to be that way again. Feige said so. He's like, dude, Endgame was the peak.
But there was film before Endgame, which was still very, very good.
Yeah.
And we're talking the Captain America movies.
To me, it's going to be all to what we're building to. Like, that's what I can't wait to see is like, okay, once we get to what the climax of this phase is going to be, like, where are we ultimately going? Well, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, they were faltering to a degree before Infinity War and Endgame. Like, Ant-Man 2 was shit.
I disagree with you on that, but I know I'm going to lose that battle.
No, I mean, I'm just going by the majority. Like, I mean, there are films a lot of people love that I don't think are that great, and vice versa. But you've got to look at the majority of people who are on board on a particular movie, and this particular case, not many people liked the second Ant-Man film. Not many people. I thought Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was shit compared to the first one. It didn't. It felt like an episode of fucking Star Trek.
I'm gonna throw myself under the bus. I thought Captain Marvel was just okay. Honestly,
I didn't mind it. I
thought it was okay too. I didn't think it was so good.
Yeah,
it was okay, but compared, so it's still. I mean, I thought it was just above average. you know, at the end, I started very much liking Carol Danvers. You know, you know, initially she came as a bit of a bitch, but I warmed to her as the film went along. You know, so yeah. Anyways, you know, I think like you know the bad stuff has been coming out a lot more early than we realized. It's just that the Endgame and Infinity Wars kind of rescued some of the kind of cover papered over the cracks of the previous shit films. So now they haven't got that cover anymore. So, and people always forget about Far From Home. That's also an excellent movie too. People forget about that.
That one's all right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's all right.
What really? I thought it was very good.
It was all right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, considering it followed Endgame, I thought it was very good.
And one of my takes, I'm gonna piss people off before we go. Black Panther was just okay. I said,
yeah, I agree.
Yep.
I agree.
It was just okay. I think Black Panther's.
I think you had a lot of good actors that helped that movie, but I mean, the story and the plot and everything
was just okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it boiled down to the CGI fight between you know two kitty cats.
And Killmonger.
Well, it's funny in a way, but even if people like Killmonger, my favorite character was the character played by Andy Serkis, Claw.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when they killed him,
that's an example of killing a great character that they didn't need to.
I loved his character, man. I wanted him. Yeah, I really hope he's not dead.
Yeah, you want?
I mean?
Oh yeah, they showed it, man. He's dead.
Hey, yo,
No,
you think this thing got screen? You think this thing has vibranium too? No, I'm just feeling it. I'm just gonna take it. I thought that line was dope. He's like, "Yeah, you really want this thing?" And he's like, "Yep, I'm gonna take it," and he takes it.
I love Claw, man. So you know, anything Andy Serkis is just such a great actor. So like you know, to like the real disservice in getting rid of him, you know, and I think he'll make a great television series villain. You know what I mean? For sure. You know,
well, and he's also an Ant-Man villain. Like, so I mean, he could have been in the Ant-Man movies, and I think it would have been pretty good to bounce off of like Paul Rudd and what's her name? Lily. I can't remember her first name. Evangelical Lily.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Evangeline
Lily. Yeah, there we go.
Maybe they can bring him from a different multiverse. You know, just
they're gonna pimp the multiverse like no tomorrow. Like we're gonna be like, all right, somehow the big thing people are speculating on is, oh, Tony Stark is coming back because of the Illuminati, and I'm like, yeah, Tony's done, y'all. I'm like, let it go. Tony's not gonna come back.
Yeah,
for a reason.
Yeah, I'm glad they don't bring people back for the sake of it. You know, like Chris Evans is apparently on Twitter talking about he's not coming back as Captain America.
Captain America, it's his time now. That's what he's
No, I do not. The only way I want Chris Evans to come back as Steve Rogers is Old Man Steve. If like you have a moment where Anthony Mackie goes to Steve and he's like, "Hey, I have this moral conundrum. What should I do?" And then it should basically be, Chris Evans basically saying, "You make that decision because I gave you the shield for this reason."
And sorry to cut you off, but the only way I want Tony back, flashback sequence. If we're gonna get Tony back, that's the only way I'm okay with it.
I don't mind multiverse of Tony, but it's got to be different than Iron Man, and it's got to be. And it can't be a main character. It's got to be a cameo. Like, I wouldn't have minded him in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
But he would just have to be like one of the Illuminati members that get killed off. Like, it can't be. There's he's back for like this whole movie. No way.
Yeah, there can't be a focus on Tony again, in my view.
And I don't know about you guys, but I really want to see a Sam Wilson Captain America movie because Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
They're doing that.
They're doing it.
I know they're doing it. I know they're doing it, but because Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He was only Captain America for the last episode. You know, I want to see a full-on movie of him being Captain America, doing his version of it, throwing that fucking shield around. I can't fucking wait.
Yeah, Captain America is probably my most anticipated going forward.
I'm really loving the fact that he's taken on the mantle because, that's what it's all about. Other, like these monikers. That's what they are. Other people have always taken them on board. It's not always the same person, and this time it's Sam Wilson's turn. So yeah, I can't wait for that. So very much looking forward to that. Anyways, okay, I think we're done. All these tangents and God knows what else. So I think we'll be back on Wednesday talking about of Ms. Marvel. So keep an eye out for that, as well as anything else that might pop up between now and then, because you never know. There's always something on board. By the way, there's a trailer for it on Netflix for that new vampire film with Jamie Foxx. It's basically like Blade, but not Blade. Yeah, Jamie Foxx is a vampire hunter. He's got Snoop Doggy Dogg with him as his version of Whistler. And
Does he have a comb over in it and
no.
blue electrical powers?
No, but he's got a white nerdy dude as well. So there you go. And yeah, so yeah, I'll send you guys a link of that a bit later. But don't forget to check out that link I also posted in the chat for the Obi-Wan movie. Definitely worth a watch. All right then, fellas. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. We'll see you on Wednesday. Take care. Bye bye.